Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. The fight against the opioid crisis continues in Schuyler County this week. Big Fox's Josh Feldberg spoke with county officials about a recent settlement with a pharmaceutical company.
Schuyler County has agreed to a $116,000 settlement with Teva Pharmaceutical Industries for their contribution to the ongoing opioid crisis.
The payment will be over 17 installments over the next 17 years, expected to begin sometime this year.
This is not the first time the county has received money from settlements with big pharmaceutical companies. Big Fox spoke with Schuyler County Attorney Stephen Getman and County Administrator Fonda Cronus about how these settlements are helping Schuyler County fight the opioid crisis.
To date, we've received almost $800,000 in opioid dollars from different settlement agreements. That is a drop in the bucket when you think about all of the resources county and other municipalities have had to put into this issue and this challenge and problem in our community. But every dollar helps, and we welcome those dollars.
Getman told Big Fox while the money can't make up for the number of lives lost, it will provide some relief to the Schuyler County taxpayers who have been forced to provide efforts and funds to fight the problem.
Certainly, the money can be used for a variety of purposes. It can be used for law enforcement. It can be used for funding first responders. It can be used for treating addiction and trying to benefit families who have been damaged or injured by this problem.
According to Schuyler County Attorney Stephen Getman, lawsuits against a number of other defendants are still pending. This means that other funds may soon become available to the county. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Schuyler County.
Elmira police have released the identity of the man killed in the Country Tavern shooting. According to police, Jeremy Shazer was killed early Saturday morning in the parking lot of the local bar. Shazer was found in his car and taken to Arnott Ogden Medical Center, where he later died. 29-year-old Shamel Swan has been arrested and charged with second-degree murder for Shazer's death. Elmira police have also released the name of the man who was killed on the 600 block of West 3rd Street last week. 56-year-old Willie James Davis has been identified as the victim of the homicide. Davis was discovered on January 20th when officers responded to a report of a man laying down with blood on him. Big Fox will keep you updated as this case develops. Starting this week, the City of Corning will send out full value property assessments. Big Fox's Maggie Hall has your guide on these assessments.
The City of Corning has not sent out full value assessments to homeowners since 2014. An assessed value is a property's determined market value. It is done by a city assessor. For the City of Corning, this is Barbara Roberts. In its announcement, the City of Corning stated that the reassessments of value are to ensure fairness and equity in taxable value. This means that depending on your home's estimated value, your taxes could go up or down. The city emphasized that these reassessments do not earn the city more tax revenue. It just distributes tax responsibility more evenly across the city. The new full value assessment disclosure notices will be mailed to residents starting this Friday. Each residential property in the city will receive a financial value for taxation reasons. These notices will include instructions for appealing the market value assessment on their home, as well as how to apply for an informal review. The city will additionally be posting more information to help homeowners through this process by January 30th on their website. This info can be accessed at cityofcorning.com. The City of Corning assessor Barbara Roberts can be contacted at 607-962-0340. Maggie Hall, Big Fox News, Corning.
A new EBT scam is making its way around Steuben County. The Department of Social Services reports that community members have received texts from a number saying that their EBT card has been locked. When they called back the number and provided their card and PIN number, their benefits were then used in other states. Officials say if you receive one of these texts, do not reply. Upstate Brewing Company is set to open a new location in just a few weeks. North Franklin Street in Watkins Glen will be home to the second location. The new site will be a tap room, and the beer will still be made at the Elmira location. According to Upstate Brewing's Facebook page, a tentative opening day is scheduled for February 10th. We're learning more about the suspected gunman in Monday's deadly mass shooting near San Francisco. Authorities now say they have evidence pointing to a motive. Claudia Cowan has more.
It's California's second mass shooting in just 3 days. A gunman opening fire at 2 separate locations in Half Moon Bay Monday afternoon, killing at least 7 people and injuring another.
Scared and shocked that something like this would even actually happen in a small community here.
The shooting unfolded around 2:30 p.m. local time. The San Mateo County Sheriff's Office says 4 people were found dead at a mushroom farm. About 2 miles away, authorities discovered the bodies of 3 other victims at a trucking facility. The victims included farm workers.
This kind of shooting is horrific. It's a tragedy that we hear about far too often. It was in the afternoon when kids were out of school, and for children to witness this is unspeakable.
Police say the suspect, 67-year-old Shunli Zhao, was an employee at one of the facilities.
Come here, hands up.
Zhao was taken into custody more than 2 hours after the shootings. A sheriff's deputy spotted his van in the parking lot of the sheriff's substation, and he was quickly arrested. A semi-automatic handgun was also found inside the vehicle.
They had their guns drawn. They approached from behind the car, pretty tight formation, and got up to the car and were probably a few feet behind it, 6 feet behind it or so, and asked him to get out.
Authorities say they believe Zhao acted alone, and they're now working to try to determine a motive for this tragedy. In Sausalito, California, Claudia Cowan, Fox News.
Ticketmaster's Taylor Swift meltdown was so bad, it got the attention of Congress. And today, live music industry titans were on the hot seat. Chad Pergram has more from Washington.
The truth shall help you God.
On Capitol Hill, lawmakers turned up the heat on ticket industry titans.
These companies are the most powerful on the planet. They have almost unlimited money. They can't be sued, and there's no real regulatory environment.
The head of Live Nation, which owns Ticketmaster, along with the CEO of SeatGeek, found themselves in the hot seat over last year's Taylor Swift pre-sale meltdown. That left thousands of fans frustrated because the system crashed before they could get tickets.
Once I was finally able to get in, all the tickets were above face value. That I was a verified fan, so I wasn't able to get anything.
We also need to recognize how industrial scalpers using bots and cyber attacks to unfairly gain tickets has contributed to this awful experience.
While the ticketing trouble lit the fuse for this hearing, senators are also using it to probe whether Ticketmaster is unfairly quashing competition in the marketplace.
You have to have competition. You can't have too much consolidation, something that unfortunately for this country, as a ode to Taylor Swift, I will say we know all too well.
Fans of Taylor Swift and Ticketmaster are never, ever, ever getting back together. And when it comes to competition, the hearing means even senators couldn't shake it off. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Your complete forecast is next. Plus, lab-grown meats could be the protein of the future. Ahead, we take a look at the unique products and when you could see them at your local grocery store.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
As some lake effect snow showers were in place throughout times of our Tuesday, we are looking that we are settling now in just a quick dry period before our next wintry system works its way in. We'll note that we'll see that increase in cloud cover and that strengthening southeasterly wind ahead of this low pressure system. Now it is initiating some winter weather advisories as we are expecting several inches of snowfall and then seeing a switch over to some rainfall. So we'll talk about the first arrival of the system system coming as snowfall. That is going to come into the morning hours and last into the early afternoon, which a bulk of our snowfall from the system will be in place through those hours. There will be a time frame that there is going to be a switch from that snow to rain as a little bit of a warmer nose moves in, as two low pressure systems across the Northeast will combine. That is going to give us a small hour or two of some icing potential. It's looking like minimal accumulation, freezing rain through higher elevations, lower elevations, sometimes of that sleet or grapple-like formation before we turn over to rainfall by the evening hours, and we'll stay underneath some light and isolated rainfall through the overnight. So let's roll through that forecast. Here's the first leg of this system. It is going to maybe arrive with a little bit of a wintry mix, but temperatures should be cool enough to see that we have mostly snowfall to start this system. Now that leg moves through, there's going to be heavy wet snowfall associated with it. There's your afternoon mix, and then by the evening we're underneath rain showers in place, staying very light, and then we'll step into Thursday talking about some enhanced winds off of the lakes that will continue to bring in some light snow showers across the state. So we start off with the bulk of the snowfall again coming at onset. Generally, we're seeing at least up to 2 to 3 inches. So that's what you're seeing here, is that at least 2 to 3 inches. Isolated areas will be getting upwards of that 6 inches possible. So there will be sometimes some heavier snowfall, all dependent on where some of those snowfall rates are in place through the morning. On top of this as well, this is that heavy wet snowfall. One, it's difficult to pick up, but two, it's also going to melt on contact. So at times it's going to look very compact and not as much of snowfall there, but it is still going to be very difficult to travel to and create dangerous road conditions, especially as we'll work towards that rainfall potential. It's also going to be blustery. We have that southeasterly wind by the evening hours gusting upwards of 35 miles per hour, which is pushing in that warm pocket, causing for that transition and allowing for temperatures to hit that 35 degrees to bring us over to that rainfall threshold. Then we'll stay into that slightly warmer pocket before the cold air will wrap in on the back side. So we'll start with 36 early on Thursday, but then throughout the day on Thursday, temperatures will actually be falling throughout the daytime, as we'll then get down to about 17 degrees through Thursday morning with some of those isolated snow showers. Friday and Saturday will be on the drier side. We'll battle with some cloud cover, hopeful to see some sunshine, but then we'll keep an eye on a few more waves of moisture next week.
The maker of Post-it notes is slashing jobs. Amazon adds a prescription perk for Prime members and how you can live like the cast of Friends. CJ Papa has that and more in today's Business Briefs.
3M, the maker of everything from Post-it notes to Scotch tape to medical face masks, is cutting 2,500 manufacturing jobs worldwide. The company says demand for its products rapidly softened toward the end of last year, and it expects sales to continue to slide this year. Amazon is launching a new prescription medication plan called RX Pass. For $5 a month, Amazon promises to provide more than 50 generic medications that treat more than 80 chronic conditions. The program will not be available to consumers enrolled in Medicare, Medicaid, or any other government health care program. Amazon says the average Prime member will save about $100 a year. California lawmakers are pushing legislation that would impose a new wealth tax even on people who have already moved out of the state. The new bill would place an extra annual 1.5% tax on those with a worldwide net worth above $1 billion, possibly starting as early as next January. And immerse yourself in one of your favorite sitcoms. A couple from Cincinnati is debuting an Airbnb based off Monica and Rachel's iconic Friends apartment. The couple also renting out a replica of Jerry Seinfeld's apartment from his hit show. It has the same layout, complete with the white kitchen and a blue sofa in the living room. That's business. I'm CJ Papa.
Well, do you know where your meat comes from? Well, in just a few years, it could be made in a lab. Yes, in a lab instead of a farm. Jackie Ibanez takes a look at the first FDA-approved lab-cultivated chicken and why the company behind it says it's not just food that tastes good, it's food you can feel good about eating.
Lab-grown meat could soon be coming to a dinner table near you. Officials at California-based Upside Foods say this lab-grown chicken breast doesn't lack the taste of traditional poultry. But how is it made?
It's meat that's grown from real animal cells. So what we do is we take really high-quality animal cells from, let's say, a cow or a pig or a chicken or a lobster, and we look for cells that can continue to grow outside the animal in a very robust and a healthy way.
Those animal cells are placed in large steel containers where they're fed a blend of vitamins and minerals. These nutrients help them develop into a product resembling a standard cut of meat.
We didn't have to raise and slaughter a chicken to get real chicken meat.
Because raising livestock contributes to harmful greenhouse gas emissions, researchers hope their products could give people who don't want to go vegan or vegetarian a way to still enjoy real meat without harming the planet.
We want to be able to be in restaurants as well as retails, whether it's a Safeway or a Wegmans or a Tops.
Back in November, the Food and Drug Administration ruled lab-grown chicken from Upside Foods was safe for humans. Now they're waiting for the Department of Agriculture to sign off on their product. Currently, the company is making 400,000 pounds of lab meat a year. Officials say they need to secure more funds to ramp up production so they can sell their meat at market-friendly prices. Upside Foods is aiming to sell lab-grown meat at U.S. restaurants as soon as this year. Their products could hit grocery shelves by 2028. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
Still ahead, we check in on a VA program designed to help veterans in another battle, social isolation. That story is next. The Department of Veterans Affairs created a virtual program early on in response to the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, matching volunteers with socially isolated veterans. Well, since then, the program has grown tremendously across the country, creating some much-needed connections. Here's Fox's Ashley Vorkin.
The Department of Veterans Affairs started its Compassionate Contact Corps program in 2020, weekly phone calls between volunteers and lonely and socially isolated veterans.
How much has it grown since it started?
We started with 8 sites around the country, and now we are at over 65 sites. And last year, we made over 13,000 unique phone calls to our veterans.
The program has since received encouraging, positive feedback.
From our veterans, we've heard things like this has been a lifesaver. We've had veterans that have lost their spouses, and they didn't think that they would carry on a year. And we've paired them with volunteers, and those veterans are still with us because now they have someone to talk to every week, and it's the same person. Some of our volunteers also get a little bit of loneliness, and so they're able to connect as well. And a lot of our volunteers are also veterans.
It's also provided insight into loneliness amongst veterans.
The reason why our veterans are more susceptible is because of their exposure to things such as stress, trauma, burnout. And now we know that there are some clinical issues that might exacerbate this because they may feed off of each other, but puts our veterans at higher risk for more clinical conditions like depression, anxiety, substance abuse, and suicidal ideations.
The goal is to keep expanding and connecting.
If you are a veteran or a family member, all you need to do is reach out to your VA clinician and let them know you're interested in participating. And I'd like to applaud you right now because we know that there are stigmas attached to loneliness and social isolation. So I'd like to applaud that bravery.
Interested volunteers can reach out to a local VA medical center or va.gov. Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Well, for some kids with special needs, music offers a unique way for them to learn and interact with others. Babs Santos takes us to a studio in Minnesota that offers musical therapy.
Classes like this are vital for kids like Cooper.
Kate Swenson's 12-year-old son, Cooper, has finally found a place to be himself. The 6th grader has autism and is nonverbal, so while his 3 siblings have been kept busy with sports, play dates, and birthday parties, his mom felt her 4th child was a little left out, at least until now.
This has been just so fun. We're with his peers, he's engaging, he's growing up, next to his typically developing peers just in his own way. And watching him blossom with his peers is amazing.
At the 3rd of 4 music therapy sessions this month in Woodbury, Cooper and 14 other young children were able to shine in their own way, having fun while working hard to improve skills relied on each and every day.
It's working on fine motor, gross motor skills, interaction, imitation.
And the list goes on. Playing these instruments, the children are getting better at sharing and taking turns while controlling their impulses. It's all possible thanks to the work of Erica Rupp with Notable Music Therapy. Now, these kids are growing in the face of different disabilities.
So we've got autism, we've got ADHD, we've got anxiety.
When this set of 4 sessions ends, already another one is planned for February.
I encourage families, even if you're scared, get out and try a class like this.
Reporting in Woodbury, Bab Santos,
Goodbye.
Fox 9.
We'll be back with more after this.
2, 3, 4, 5.
And we want to leave you with a smile. Meet Teddy Hobbs, the UK's youngest member of Mensa. That's the largest and oldest IQ society in the world. He qualified after completing a Mensa IQ test with a score of 139. Teddy, now 4 years old, taught himself to read when he was just 2 years old during the COVID-19 lockdown. Watch him. He can count to 100 in several locations, including Mandarin, which is considered exceptionally hard to learn. Mensa members must attain a score above the 98th percentile of the general population of Mensa-approved intelligence tests. Teddy gained entry into Mensa at the age of 3. I'm Harriet Wallace. Thanks so much for watching.